vision. Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go.
Oh, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? College Couch Podcast back in session. Javaris here, Stackz, Delbridge, forever in the building. Oh, you already know it. We rocking with that
They say,
Memphis. All of that.
ooh.
Listen, so early on in the season, of course, we had made a little bet between each other as far as if Memphis were to have beaten Florida State, which they did, we were gonna come on with Memphis shirts, right? So of course, it was only right we wore them, but we waited till like later on in the season, right before they went into bowl season, to play West Virginia, which they won.
Yeah,
Shout out to
salute,
Memphis,
salute.
man. Like Memphis doing it big. So, yeah, man, they got the job done. We got the shirts. We're rocking the shirts for this episode today. And yeah, man, life is good, brother. Life is great. We are in bowl season. We are in college football playoff season. Everything is just it's. I mean, we're in the coaching carousel. We're in the transfer portal carousel. Everything just all happening at once. So, but yeah, man, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So yeah, shout out to Memphis. Shout out to Jackson State for getting the win against South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl here in Atlanta. I missed that game. That's like one of my favorite games to go to in the city. It's always live. It's always a lot of people from out of town that come to support their alma maters, support the HBCU, support the bands. So yeah, man. But I ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's get right into it. Stackz, my brother, how are you feeling, brother?
Hey
The
man,
people
life is
miss you.
good. Life is good. Life is good.
Yeah, man.
Hate that football season is ending, but anxious to see how it ends and
Mm,
the fun stuff we're gonna get to talk about with these
yeah.
playoff games and these bowl games, So again, shout out Memphis for doing their thing. I wanted to wait. So I know I made that big announcement that I would wear a Memphis shirt if they beat Florida State, but I said, you know what? Let me see. If they get
Mm.
a bowl game this year, that'd be the icing on the cake. So I
Oh
told
yeah.
Javaris, I was like, look, let's still honor our promise and let's get them when they make it to a bowl game. And thankfully, they won. They pulled it
Right.
out. Because
Right. It was a
this might
little
be a little different intro if they had lost. Still
exactly. It
shout
was
out, but
the
but
game
we'll
was
never know now.
close.
We'll never know now.
Right. It was a close game, but luckily, like you said, they pulled it out. So that was definitely the icing on the cake, man. 42-37 in the Frisco Bowl up in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. They were in Dallas. So yeah, man. Again, shout out to Memphis, man. Shout out to Memphis. Shout out to the M. But hey, brother, let's talk about this Heisman, man. Travis Hunter, Colorado Unicorn, man, wins the Heisman. I'm not upset. Granted, of course, I wanted Ashton Janney to win it, but brother, I'm not upset with the result. I'm not
Right.
upset, and I also want to clarify something. I think last week I misspoke and said that Shador was in it, and it was Ashton Janney, um, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward,
And
and
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. I don't know how I got Shador in there, but granted, Shador was still one of the finalists. He just fell out of the top four. He was like, I want to say 5 or 6, but what a finalist list though. Those four guys really
Yeah,
balled out
I
this season.
mean, and I think Shador should have been in there
Mm,
over Gabriel. It's my opinion
yeah.
because the numbers spoke for itself.
Hmm.
But winning football games makes a difference.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
although Shador had the better numbers, Dylan Gabriel's in the playoffs. So
Right.
and then I know people gonna be like, well, Cam Ward wasn't in the playoffs. Well, Cam Ward, they've been top 10 pretty much the whole season.
Hmm.
And they were one of the first teams out. So I mean, they still handle business. I mean, they didn't handle business in the right moments, but it's okay. Cam Ward did his thing. He had a tremendous season. I mean, when's the last time we got this excited about Miami football? I mean, Cam Ward
Exactly.
to do what he did, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I mean, as far as Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, I think well deserved because I mean,
Hmm.
some people will say, well, he wasn't, super great at at the wide receiver spot. I might do had over 1,000 yards receiving, while
Yeah.
also locking down one side of the field on defense with 4 picks and having the most pass deflections or whatever among players that
Yeah.
had 4 interceptions this year. So I mean,
Mhm.
the guy's phenomenal. I mean, every time he touches the ball, it's a threat to score, and
Yeah.
he's fun to watch. I mean, the energy he plays with, and when he makes a big play, it's always a dance, always a celebration.
Mhm.
Him and Castanet always coming on there
Mhm.
trying to figure out some different stuff. So I mean, well deserved, well earned. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude is a beast. Like we haven't seen somebody play both sides at that elite of a level. Like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, he was. I mean, I know he was like at least top 10 on both sides of the ball. So I mean, you can't really negate that. I mean, some say it's a popularity contest or whatever. I don't think so. I mean, had Gentry played both sides, I mean, he would have been hands down
Yeah.
the Heisman winner. But you know, any other year that Travis Hunter wouldn't have been in it, I definitely think Gentry would have won it. In
Yeah.
that situation. But Hunter definitely deserved it.
Absolutely. And if I remember correctly, the final tabulations actually came out, and I mean, it was a close race. It was a close. It was literally almost a photo finish between Genty and Hunter. And I mean, you gotta tip your hat to both of the guys, man. They balled out this season. Of course, when you look at both the two, you kind of have to really dive deep into like just the stats. Like Genty is doing this for a G5 team with Boise State, but then you have a conference like Colorado, which with them moving into the Big 12, it kind of gave that edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, Genty is doing this on a team that Boise State hadn't been relevant in what since like the
Right. I
early
mean, and neither
2000s.
had Colorado.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be real. You know, even with Coach Prime coming to Colorado,
Mhm.
had you not had Shador and Travis Hunter,
Yeah,
we would have tuned in, but it still definitely wouldn't have been the same energy. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And the fact that, as a DB, you on an island out there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So you balling out like that, on an island and having to do all of that. They're running against receivers and then turn around and go right back on offense and ball out and not lose a step. That's
Yeah,
pretty impressive. That's Heisman worthy, you know.
absolutely. And
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 and nothing to take away from Genty because a phenomenal season,
yeah,
phenomenal running back. I mean, but I mean, you kind of got to tip your hat to somebody playing both
Mhm.
sides the entire game.
Yeah.
It's not like he played cornerback and came in for a play or two or three. No, he came in and played full time wide receiver, came in played full time cornerback, and was elite at both. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, I mean, to me, it's a no brainer when it comes to that. Only because he's elite at both. That's the only
But
reason I would
and I
say.
mean, also too, like you just said, to have a Heisman finalist in your second season of coaching, not even a finalist, but two finalists like that, but then also have a Heisman winner. Come on, like that's unheard of in your second season from you going to a 4-win season now to being a bowl eligible team with two Heisman finalists. Man, come on, like we gotta stop the whole narrative here with Coach Prime. I mean, he's transforming a lot of things in the Big 12. And it's
Right.
time, granted, some things may have been said, and some people may feel like, okay, well, he did this in order to make this happen. At the same time, it happened, right? It happened, and we just gotta move on with
Well,
it.
I mean, if you want to be real, all coaches got something that you
Exactly.
can hate about. You know what I'm saying? Or
Hmm.
you could gripe about.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart got something you could gripe about. Saban had things you could gripe about because everybody used to say, well, he pays his players to come there. I mean, it's always gonna be something. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, is he a good coach? Deion Sanders is a phenomenal coach. I got like not even just the X's and O's. Like to me, the way he talks to his players, knows when to lift a player up instead of breaking them down. How he knows which players, how to talk to certain players. Like he knows. Like I mean, I remember seeing few times this year, last year, where Jimmy Horn had a bad play. Instead of ripping him a new one, he had a conversation with him like, "Hey, you gonna get the next one, and you gonna ball out. We gonna need you in this game. We gonna need you." And then Jimmy Horn turns around and makes a big play. Or
Mm.
Shador has a bad performance and says, "Hey, it's your first game back." I mean, it's not Shador, but Shiloh has a bad game coming back. Say it's your first game back. You missed a step. You didn't look like yourself. You didn't. You know what I'm saying? And then he comes back and has a great game. With tackles or interception or whatever. Just knowing those little things about your players, and then the fact that you have your sons on there and you coach them as if they were a regular recruit. That says something about him and the way he coaches. So I mean, Colorado looked night and day from this year to last year, or from last year to this year,
Mm.
and that speaks volumes to what Coach Prime is trying to do. So I
Yeah.
mean, for all the people hating on Prime, I think he's a great coach. He's won at Jackson State and he's won at Colorado. He turned that program around. Like
Hmm.
I've never watched the Colorado game before he got there.
Yeah.
Now I'm making sure that I'm watching that game. So you got to tip your hat to that. I mean, we knew Travis Hunter coming from Jackson State was going to be good, but we didn't know. We got to see it on a national level. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And,
So
and I mean, granted, there were also people that were fortunate enough to see him doing it at Collins Hill High School.
right,
When here in the metro area. So, for the people that caught it early, hey, kudos to you because you saw a gem in the making. So, I mean, it was really just it was just Travis to begin with. Granted, again, I would have loved to see Ashton Genty get it, but I'm not upset with the result, man. I couldn't be more happy. A guy from Georgia got it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm extremely happy about
right,
that.
right.
And I mean, I know he's gonna excel, or at least I hope he excels in the NFL. With whatever team drafts him. But it's just at this point, it's just like, man, like I don't think we'll ever see another player like Travis Hunter ever again.
Right. I mean, and we'll see another Genty. In my
Hmm.
opinion, I don't think. I think Travis opened that door for
Hmm.
players like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think nobody's gonna be able to do it at the level that he does. Like I mean, to not miss a step ever. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And playing all those snaps. Like I think somebody's gonna be able to be good on both sides, but I think that they're gonna miss a step or two just because your conditioning, your discipline has to be perfect for that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like he's got great ball skills. You know what I'm saying, on both sides of the ball. Like he's got great instincts on both sides of the ball. I mean, that's pretty hard to do, regardless if you play receiver or not. A lot of receivers, that can't catch go to DB, but they don't have the instincts of a DB. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, for him to have those instincts, like I've seen several times when he was out of the play, taking the top off, and then reacts to a ball being thrown underneath and is able to cover that area and get the pick. That's not easy to do. As somebody that's played cornerback before, that is not easy to do. So like I said, I think we'll see one just because he's opened the door, but I just don't think at that level. But we'll see a Genty again, obviously, because we've seen players uh have those stats or similar stats.
Hmm.
Not the exact same, but similar stats. I mean, Barry Sanders are already, what I'm saying, already took the top off with that, and then we had Derrick Henry, we've had Mark Ingram, we've had players that have, kind of been threatening that record, but or dominant like that. So I mean, I think we'll see it again. When we'll see it, I don't know. But again, these players have opened that up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
It's a scary progression. Seeing Genty stats from just 3 years. I mean, from where he
right,
started to where he is now. I mean, just climbing. And I
right,
mean,
and that
that
just
was
shows you that he's coachable and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
able to grow, and that's a good thing.
exactly.
That's a lot of college. I mean, NFL coaches look at that.
Hmm. Yep.
And
Yep.
that goes back to what we said last year. Like for the players that want to come in and start as a freshman, it's not about that. Like all you
Hmm.
need is 1 year. All you need is one good year, and it don't have to be your freshman year.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? It's your progression. Like Genty, we weren't talking about Genty last year. We
Yeah.
weren't talking about TNT when he was a freshman. You know what I'm saying? Cam Ward, we weren't talking about him when he was a freshman. He was a 2-star recruit or no-star recruit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he had to go the long route. But then he balled out last year, and then this year he just took it, to another level in a different conference. So
Mm-hmm.
all you need is 1 year to ball out. You know what I'm saying? So, from your freshman year to your junior, senior year, you gotta, continue to climb that ladder. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, whatever freshman may be watching this, or a senior that's coming to college that's becoming a freshman, don't worry about the stats of your freshman year or if you get the start or not. Worry about what coach is going to put you in the best position to be better. And so when that time comes and you're eligible to go to the draft, you are already elite at that level because you've grown and you've seen so much. Prime example, Bo Nix, freshman, he was good, but as he progressed, he got better. And when he got to Oregon, he was unstoppable. Now he's in the league and he's doing good things as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So we saw the growth. We literally
Yeah.
watched Bo for 13 years got there progressed. but but yeah, I mean you just gotta be, what I'm saying, you just gotta be able to be
Yeah.
coachable and to
Mm-hmm.
be able to grow in your
Yeah.
craft. So I mean that's just a testament to that. So
Absolutely, and I got a chance to watch all four guys on this past Saturday. They did sit down interviews with Sports Center right before the ceremony, and one of the reporters asked Ashton Genty. He was like, "Now there are kids that look up to players, right? How would you describe your play style for players that look up to you and want to play like you?" And he just described like running angry, not going down on the first, on the first contact, like all these different things. And it's kind of scary to think that if we see another Ashton Genty come around here in the next few years, man, just the nostalgia effect of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just dang, I remember watching Ashton Genty when he was at Boise State against Oregon, only losing by 3 points. You know what I'm saying? And how he really made his name known that game, or when he was running for dang near 200 yards a game and scoring 2 touchdowns and stuff. Like, all of that is going to come back. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like you just said, like, we'll probably never see another Travis Hunter again, but just the effect of Ashley Genties that are going to start being, more. We're going to start seeing a lot of more Ashley Genties come around. Like, even the Steph Curry effect when he reinvented the 3 point, the 3 pointer. It's going to be around because when kids start gravitating to something, they want to be like it. So I feel like we'll see a lot more Ashley Genties rather than a lot more Travis Hunters in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, it's been a sight to see. It's definitely been a sight to
sure,
see. I've
sure.
enjoyed this.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while before we see it on Ashton Jensen, only because the way college football and football in general is going, it's going more
Mhm.
toward the pass game. So I think that it'll be a while before we see that, or it'll have to be a running back in a certain situation, like with a team that believes in pounding the pavement, running the ball, using the run game to open up the pass more,
Mhm.
things like that. Because I mean, we see it all the time. Like Georgia's whole identity at one point was the run game.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you can, like most people that's not Georgia fan can name me a running back before they can name me a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, or a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Not no knocks to them. They've had some great quarterbacks and some great wide receivers, but their identity was normally the run game. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, but now you've seen them go to a style of passing the ball or pushing the ball downfield, not running the ball as much. So it'll be a while before we see another Ashton Genty, unless we get one of those situations. And I think it'll be a while before we see a Travis Hunter, but I do think we're going to see something like that just because once you open that Pandora's box of, oh, this can be done, people are going to start gravitating to it. Because a lot of times, wide receivers will be like, man, I don't want to play DB.
Yeah.
Or DBs will be like, I wanted to play wide receivers, but I just came over here to play DB.
Mhm.
You know, Now it's going to be like, oh no, I want to play both. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they've seen it done before. Like it's a blueprint for it,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that they've seen a player get to that level and actually exceed at that level and won the Heisman. We haven't seen a DB win the Heisman. Well, we haven't seen a DB win. I haven't seen a DB win the Heisman. You know, I've seen receivers win it. I haven't seen a DB, and I definitely haven't seen a DB slash wide receiver win it. So
I'm about to say
that's open.
Charles. Well, yeah, we weren't alive. What?
I said seen.
I'm about
I
to say,
haven't.
yeah, we weren't alive when Charles Woodson won.
But what? Man, come on, bro. Like, I mean, I know I'm 30, but I ain't
Yeah.
that goddamn
I'm
old, bro.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know
And
what I'm
then
saying?
yeah,
I
and
haven't. Like, I have. I'm not
I'm
saying
about
it
to say,
hasn't been done.
wait, was it Charles Woodson or Desmond Howard? Or they both won it?
Desmond Howard won it, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that ain't been done before. I don't
Yeah.
know the
Right. Right.
history. I don't know like as far back. I'm just speaking for as long as I've been alive. I've seen running
Exactly.
backs win it. I've seen quarterbacks win it. I've seen
Uh-huh.
receivers win it. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be missing out some people on the defensive side. I mean, you know, but I'm just saying from what I can remember, as far as me watching football and what I've seen with my own eyes,
Right.
I've only seen those three positions. I haven't seen a DB win it. You know, because the cornerback is newly popular. Playing that
Mm-hmm.
position is newly popular. Obviously, because Coach Prime made that popular to be a defensive back, and then and you've seen the evolution of the defensive back, but it just
Yeah.
got popular recently to be a shutdown corner. Like that just became a cool thing. Like I know when I was playing, heck no, we didn't want to play cornerback. We want to play wide receiver so we can touch the ball, or we want to play running back so we can run people over, or we want to play quarterback so you can control the offense and
Yeah.
all the attention's on you. That's what skill positions that we wanted to play, you know. But as I've grown and seen, the defensive back position has been more popularized. Now I want to play defensive back so I can shut down the wide receivers. It's becoming more and more popular. Like you seeing
Yeah.
your Jalen Ramseys that you know what I'm saying, and all those type of players and stuff like that. That's making it. That's taking what Prime did and taking it a step and making it more popular, more and more
Yeah.
popular. Like it started with him, but you know,
I
just
mean,
because he
yeah.
made it fun.
Everybody, I mean, you got everybody doing these celebrations and stuff, and like all that,
Right, right.
all
That
that.
wasn't a thing. That wasn't a
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
a while ago. Like you know what I'm saying. Some years
Yeah.
ago, it was not. It was not a thing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like the defense celebrating like that. Like you would
Mm-hmm.
see defensive linemen celebrating, or linebackers celebrating, like celebrating a sack, or celebrating a big
Mm-hmm.
tackle for loss. But you wouldn't see DBs doing all of that. But
Right.
Prime made it cool because Prime was a DB that had the personality of a wide receiver. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And that was not seen before. And then it carried over, and now you got the Jalen Ramseys that's making it fun to be a DB, and all these other DBs are making it, taking it a step further. So you know what I'm saying? DB is a fun position. Like you going especially when you're playing a team that passes the ball a lot. It's a fun position, but it was not the most popular at one point. That's all I'm saying. I'm just but we're gonna start seeing people gravitate toward that just
Yeah.
because Travis Hunter made that cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Well, listen, that was a great little opening segment. I definitely wanted to get that off, and before we move forward, I feel like I forgot, but we definitely want to send a congratulations to Michael Vick,
yes.
my favorite all time quarterback of all time. Recently got the job, a head coaching job with Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. Make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. So man, I'm super excited to see how he does up there. And
Oh, shout out Teddy Bridgewater for his first
yeah,
Heisman
man.
championship too. I just thought about that. I know that wasn't on the books, but I just
Yeah,
thought about that.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking. I guess I'm kind of looking forward to see what he does. He wants to come back to the NFL. Me personally, I don't think you should. You know what I'm saying? You running things in high school, but hey, if he feels like he's still got one more left in him, hey, so be it. But yeah. So let's talk about the first round of playoffs. You ready?
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's
All
get
right,
it.
so we got Clemson and Texas this weekend. Of course, we got 4 matchups this weekend. No, I'm sorry. We have a game on Friday. It's the Indiana and Notre Dame game. We'll start with we'll go ahead and start with Clemson and Texas first, just because of you know bigger matchups. Clemson and Texas. Now, first off, man, let me set a storyline for you, which is insane. Quinn Ewers and Cade Klubnik played each other in high school, correct? They're both from Texas. These guys are going to be matched up once again in the first round of the college football 12-team playoff, the first ever, right? How insane is that these guys not only played in a championship against each other in high school, but they're now going to be playing in the first round of the first ever 12-team playoffs. Now let her come in. She might have a say so. But yeah, man, like just how crazy is this game going to be come Saturday?
It's gonna be wild. I
Yeah.
mean, not only for that storyline, but it's just because I think both teams have something to prove.
Hmm.
Like Clemson was doubted all season, especially at the beginning of the season. Dabo was doubted all season, especially at the beginning of the season. You know, a lot of people at a certain point, one time or another, didn't feel like they deserved a spot or whatever. And in Texas, biggest thing with them, everybody said they played a weak schedule.
Yeah.
You know, they lost to Georgia twice. They lost the SEC championship. You know what I'm saying? And they had it pretty much won, but with mistakes, mental mistakes, and stuff like that. I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a battle. It's going to be
Mhm.
a battle, but I mean, I think Texas comes out on top just because um, Clemson's offense can stall a lot, like really a whole lot. Like the defense is pretty, to me, is pretty stout, but the offense is hot and cold.
Yeah.
You know, we never know how they're gonna ball out, and Texas's DBs, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
and their line, I think they're gonna get healthy. What I'm saying, so I mean. And Quinn Ewers, I mean, he bought. I mean, if you could throw for that many yards against a Georgia team,
Mhm.
at the Dome, think with the teams that are put in front of him in the playoffs, I don't think no defense, is better than Georgia defense. And
Yeah.
if you could pick apart Georgia defense like that, I don't think nobody else, can stop you. So is this? I
Yeah.
think it's gonna start with him. Start and stop with him because the
Hey,
defense is gonna handle business.
that's a great point, and I feel like a lot. There's been a lot of talk about who's going to be the starter for this game. I don't think it should be anybody but Quinn Ewers. I mean,
Right. I mean, he
Arch is
got you. He
definitely.
got you to
Yeah.
this point. So
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. And I think Arch is waited. Arch is still waiting patiently, and it's going to be Arch's team next season. But at the same time, like you just stated, you pick apart Georgia's defense. You pick apart a lot of these teams' defense the way that you do. You put them in a better position to win, right? Texas won that game in the SEC championship. Georgia just happened to come back. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
game was won. Georgia just happened to have a game plan and said, okay, let's
I'll
start
be
playing
honest with
around.
you. It wasn't even their game plan. If
Yeah,
Texas shot themselves in the foot so many times,
yeah,
and Georgia was like, "All right, well, if you gonna give it to us, we gonna take it."
exactly. So, but again, I mean, Quinn Ewers almost had like over. I know he had over 100 passing yards before half,
Yeah, he had
but
like 300 plus yards. The whole
yeah,
game.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
and
So
one pick, and the pick
yeah,
that the big pick that he threw, the first one, to me, uh, it wasn't a bad pass. I just
mhm,
think that was just great coverage.
yeah,
That's when
yeah.
defense is beating great offense.
I
So
mean, it's
I
just
mean,
it,
say what you want, but that's my opinion. Because I mean,
I mean, but again, it's just it's sometimes just as simple as that though. But I think again, Quinn Ewers puts them in the best position to win. Um, I'm really looking to see what the matchup between AJ Terrell's brother Avion Terrell and whoever he's going to be matched up. I mean, I've been a
and they
huge
may get Isaiah Bond back too.
yeah.
So
And again, I've been a huge fan of Texas's wide receiving core. A lot of people underestimate this receiving core. When they're hot, they're hot. Matthew Golden, Silas Bowden, Isaiah Bond. like, yeah, these guys, oh, okay, well, they really didn't go well. Matthew Golden did, but I really want people to understand the severity of this receiving core. Like, they are the real deal, and if they get hot and moving, it's a done deal. You're
Yeah,
not
I
you're
mean,
not gonna
it
you're not
helps
gonna
to have
contain them.
a offensive mind like Sarkisian too.
Yeah,
So, some
exactly.
of the plays that he dials up, I'm like, man, that's genius.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, Texas and Clemson, I think it had their hands full.
Mhm.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout by no stretch. I think it's gonna be a dog fight essentially,
Yeah,
but I think Texas comes out on top. You know,
absolutely. I feel.
especially if yours get hot, and
Yeah,
especially if the run game opens up early.
yeah.
Run game opens up early. Oh, it's gonna be a long day for Clemson.
Absolutely, and they have to give Wisner the ball. They have to give him the ball. They have to let him run. They have to let him get open space. And I think the game is Texas. I mean, I think Texas has this game. Clemson, of course. I mean, they started out very slow in the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? And then the ACC championship, when you let SMU almost come back like that. Granted, I've been watching SMU. But at the same time, with a lead like that, you can't let a team. You know what I'm saying? You
Not
can't
if
let a
you want to win
team
no championship.
exactly. You can't let a team start a comeback like that, especially in the second half where the game is won. So I think Texas takes this game as well. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a matchup to see. But I do want to go ahead and add this as well. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here. What a Oregon and Texas matchup would look like in the semifinals of to
Oh
play
yeah,
for national
amazing,
championships.
amazing. Like
Oh man, that would
the
feed
the
generation.
possible matchups are immense in my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean Texas Oregon that'd be great because Oregon likes to throw the ball.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Texas has great DBs.
Yeah.
And Oregon's defense, they're hot and cold too. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be a great matchup. But I personally
Yeah.
think end of the season it's gonna be Texas and Georgia.
Yeah.
Again, because to me that's the best matchup for the national championship, in my opinion. Um, but that's just me.
And I mean, you Texas has been your favorite, and I mean that's very well understandable. But I think I for some odd reason for the bowl, not the bowl. The crystal ball is just telling me Oregon, Georgia for some reason. But again, we'll see when time comes closer. But yeah, again, I do have Texas taking this game and facing off Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. So yeah, I think that'll probably be the deal. Let's oh man, let's move on to this Tennessee or Ohio State game. I don't know. I'm scared.
I got Tennessee only if I'm a leaver balls out.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing.
Ohio State been suspect
But
all season.
right, correct. But the streets want a Ohio State Oregon rematch because Ohio State should have won that game. What I'll say this: Ohio State should have won, but Oregon wanted it more, and
I'm gonna
that's
be
what they
honest
did
with you.
all season.
Oregon wanted more, but it was a lot of at the end it was a stupid mistake. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's what it's been all
they
season.
want that matchup. That would be an interesting matchup. But
Yeah.
I just think right now I just don't believe in Ryan Day. I'm just
Mhm.
being honest.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in Ryan Day. Tennessee's run game is crazy, and if
Yeah.
uh and if the pass game opens up, I think they pick them apart.
Mhm.
And then Ohio State offensively has been hot and cold. So I don't. And Tennessee's defense is not bad at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, and then they've been in some tough matchups. Tennessee has been in some tough matchups that you know they've came out on top. Some tough matchups they faced a lot of adversity on teams that are really really stout. Ohio State, on the other hand, to me, the only tough matchup they had was Oregon, and Oregon beat them. You know, the only matchup that should have been tough, I should say, let
Yeah.
me clarify, was Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and they lost to Oregon. You know, so uh, and then they lose to Penn State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, and you know what I'm saying. So I mean, for me,
What's
I
more?
just think Tennessee is more battle tested,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Um,
No. Penn State lost to Ohio
Penn
State.
State lost. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. That was a close game, and
Yeah,
they
that's when everybody was like, "Oh no, big game James lost."
right,
So
right. Okay, okay. I couldn't remember
yeah,
which way it went. You know, I watched that game. I just couldn't remember if Penn
Mhm.
State won or lost.
Yeah.
But even with that, like I mean, we've seen when in the games that you're slated to win, supposedly you struggle. Like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And no knock to Penn State, but Ohio State played Penn State. Well, I ain't gonna say Ohio State played Penn State, and to me, that was one of the better defenses that they faced outside of Oregon. And
Mhm.
we saw how much of a struggle that was for Ohio State.
Yeah.
So you're going against Tennessee, which has a good defense. That's gonna be, and the way this year's been going, I mean, I personally don't want to see Ohio State Oregon rematch.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Well,
but
again, the streets are wanting Oregon
I know the
State.
world wants that. I
I
know
mean,
the world
Ohio
wants that.
State. Yeah, Ohio State. And
I mean, I guess for me, I just don't believe in Ryan Day, man. I just don't
yeah,
believe like
well, a lot, and I mean that's a fair point, but also if he loses this game, he's probably gonna be out. So that's the
right.
that's the
I mean,
thing. Like,
the
really,
only way he saved his career is if he wins the
if
championship.
he
So
win
either
that
way,
championship, listen, if Ryan Day loses from here on out, if whatever game it is, if that man loses, it's over.
because
It's over.
being quite frank, you're not gonna get this level of talent again.
Yeah.
You pay so much money for all these elite athletes. Like your running backs are good, your receivers are good, quarterback, he can be good sometimes, but you got all these elite players, and you still can't get it done. To me, bump the record because I don't care what you do against teams you're supposed to beat. No, what do you do when you play the Oregons, you play the Georgias, you play the Tennessees, you play all these teams that are ranked? What do you do against them? That's what's important.
Mhm.
You know, uh, okay, yeah, you've been to the championship, but you lost. Okay, you played Georgia at the Dome in the playoffs, but you lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now you have to get over the hump. It's either win or bust, in my opinion.
Right.
Like, so I mean, I think he fired on one side, me saying that he's fired if he doesn't win the championship. On the other side, it says, okay, well, we don't want to start a rebuild right now. But we got Ryan Day and his record is good. So I think that will be the only saving grace if he doesn't win the championship.
Mhm.
But my opinion, if he doesn't win the championship, you got to let him go because he just can't. Same with
That's
Franklin.
that's
You
the
know,
only that's the only reasonable. I mean, at this point, that's you have to. You cannot lose a rivalry game like that. That many 4 years in a row, you can't let that happen.
right,
And especially like you said, the year that you pay so much money, you bring in Caleb Downs from Alabama, you bring in Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss, you bring in Will Howard, you keep Egbuka for another year. You get a stud freshman like Jeremiah Smith. All these guys, and you can't win the big one. Like, you have to go. The
right.
fans are tired. I'm not even a fan of Ohio State. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all should be taking over the Big Ten every season.
Right.
Every season, the Big Ten.
Especially with the season that Michigan had this
Yes,
year.
yes. And then they probably gonna get smacked in the Best Buy Bowl by Alabama this season. I mean, in a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't lose games like that, man. You can't
Right.
let that happen. So
Right.
Yeah, I genuinely, man, I want better for Ohio State. Ohio State is a um that's a team that's been 1-1. They've been itching for one for a long time. So
Yeah, last
um,
time they won it was when Urban Meyer was there and they had
yeah,
Ezekiel Elliott and
yeah.
all.
You got Urban Meyer contemplating about maybe I need to come back and get this thing done. You know what I'm
No,
saying? Like,
heck no. Heck no. Heck no. Heck no.
but no, like it's just the fans want it, man. They've been itching for it. They've been wanting it. So you gotta do better. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna go with the streets on this, man. I'm gonna take Ohio State this game. I think Ohio State just has the edge. Um, I think Ohio State comes through this game, man, and gets it done over Tennessee. I think they do. I really do. I really do. They better. Usually, when I say they better, a lot of teams get the job done. Most of them, so they better, man. I mean, if you listen, if you want to save your head coach's job, you better get it done. Because I'm
Right.
telling you, where? Hold on, let me make sure. Make sure. Because oh yeah, oh yeah. If they lose this game, he cleaned that office out that night. He cleaned that office out. Yeah. Oh, and it's at 8 o'clock. Oh yeah, he gonna be up to about 1 o'clock that morning, clean that office out. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, he gonna go ahead and clean that office out that night. Cause he should have cleaned it. Me personally, nah, it was James Franklin. I'm sorry, it was James Franklin. Let me not do Rondé like that. It was, but yeah, but still, they lose to Tennessee. Clean that office out, brother. You
For
you better
sure.
pack it up, pack it up, pack it up, pack it up. Shoot, if James Franklin lose to SMU, he can pack it up too.
Yeah, you can't lose. Yeah, can't
If you
lose to
lose to
SMU.
listen, not only that, it's so funny because I joke. I've been joking with one of my coworkers who's a Penn State alum and a Penn State fan, of course. And we hate noon whiteout games, man. Noon whiteout games. First off, when Penn State and Ohio State played, it was a noon game. But now you have SMU coming down. SMU, first off, Dallas, Texas. I don't think they prepare for how cold it's going to be in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean, I think I don't usually pick Penn State. I think Penn State pulls that one out just
yeah,
because of
Penn
time of
State,
year and yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
just hate that. I mean, you hate it, man. I mean, Kevin Jennings, bro. Kevin Jennings, Brashard Smith.
But
Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, regardless if SMU is a different situation because regardless win or lose, for one, the coach's job is safe because ain't nobody pick SMU to make playoffs.
yeah,
For two, of course, fans want them to go all the way, but I mean, let's look at it. You are playing in the playoffs. SMU is playing in the playoffs. That's crazy. So
yeah,
you've already won in my book.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you go further, then that's just icing on the cake. Like you
right,
already got the cake. Now you just putting some extra flavor on that mug. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So, I mean, I think SMU, regardless win or lose, they have nothing to be ashamed about. Like unlike other teams, like if Ohio State loses, they got to be ashamed of themselves. Tennessee loses, they got to be ashamed of themselves. Like everybody else, besides like maybe two or three teams, you know what I'm saying, I'd be ashamed of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think SMU, Boise, I mean, all these, there's a couple of teams, like three teams in there that I think that you got to be proud the fact that you even made it
yeah,
in the playoffs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, every team, every player, every fan wants more for their team. Everybody wants to have that bragging right to say they beat this team, beat that team, and won the championship or whatever. But you gotta be dang proud that you were able to play in this playoffs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody picked nobody thinking Boise State was making playoffs. Nobody thought
yeah,
SMU was making playoffs. Dang sure nobody thought Arizona State was making playoffs. So like, you know what I'm saying? These three teams, regardless of what happens, in my mind, you gotta be proud that you guys put the world on notice that y'all are here to
yeah,
stay and that y'all are good and y'all let recruits know that you can come here too and
yeah.
ball out. You know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah.
can make playoffs and we can make championship runs.
Right. I
So
mean, especially like first year teams like SMU and Texas. Texas just joined the SEC and SMU just joined the ACC. Like these are first year teams running the table almost. So you kind of got to put tip your hat down. Granted, of course, like you said, people are going to be like, well, Texas didn't have to play Alabama, Texas didn't have to play Ole Miss, and teams like that.
but
But
with that, you know what I'm saying? That ain't their fault.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just where it fell this year.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when people do that
Mm-hmm.
because every school has had an easy schedule a time or two. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
your your ease of schedule falls on if the other team is good that year. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. At one point, Tennessee was not that good, so that made Georgia's schedule look weak. All of a sudden, Tennessee has been good, so that makes the schedule not as weak. Or Kentucky, you know what I'm saying, being, playing them tight like that. Like, you don't never know. Like, yes, I'll always root for the SEC and all of that, but let's not forget, like, some schools are in rebuild mode, so it don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't look good. Like, prime example, the year that Cam won it with Auburn, we were not slated to win the championship. They were looking at us like a easy win game because we were not up there. We weren't ranked that year, so that would be an easy schedule until you play the team and they're actually good. You know what I'm saying? So you play who's in front of you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boise can't help that they in the Mountain West or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They beat the teams that were in front of them. Like Oregon's coach said, you just win and ain't nobody can leave nothing to doubt. You win your games, nobody can leave nothing to chance. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so Texas coming in that first year, okay, they handle business. And let's not, for the people that says, oh, the SEC is not as strong as you say, because Texas came in, ran the table. Texas was the deal in their conference before. So, and Texas got oil money. So they can afford to spend some paper. So
Yeah.
it ain't like it. Now, I can see if Michigan State or somebody like that was to come into the SEC and ball out, then I would say you got an argument because they weren't that good in their conference.
Yeah.
Like a Texas or whatever. So, because Texas was in playoffs last year from their conference, so you can't say that the SEC is weak. No, they're just good. You know what I'm saying? That's just like saying, you know, a team is or a conference is weak because hey, they beat these teams this that and the third. No, man, bro, no. Or like when bowl season comes around, I hate when people talk about the bowl record between Big 10, Big 12 teams as opposed to SEC teams. No, all the stars ain't playing. Like, don't nobody want to play in no bowl game. Everybody want to play for the championship.
Right.
You can't base it off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's players that's playing that haven't played at all this year. So how you gonna base that my team is good and we got players that ain't played all season?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, for instance, like if Milrow was to not play, somebody want to see that for Bama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if Ryan Williams was a junior and decided not to play. Don't nobody want to see Bama, and then Bama lost their game. Like, everybody be like, "Oh, well, Bama." No.
Yeah.
If the Stars play and you beat them, kudos. You know.
Fair.
So
Fair.
that's my rant.
Yeah. No. I mean, listen. You once again took the words out of my mouth. I feel the same way, and yeah, man. I think, but like you said, I just think Penn State comes away with this one. Of course, it feels like we're taking all the higher seeds right now, but it's just like, I mean, going just based off what the just the record looks like. I'm not record, but as far as like just what the play, I think really the only game that really still has me like, okay, I really don't know is Tennessee Ohio State, but I feel Ohio State has an advantage and they should come away with this game. All right, now to the last one, Indiana and Notre Dame. Again,
See, this is
really,
a tough because
yeah.
Indiana's not battle tested, and one time they got battle tested, they lost, and Notre Dame, they big
it's so
game.
it's so funny to me because every time every time Notre Dame makes it like high in the playoff picture, everybody always wants to be like, why do they keep throwing Notre Dame in?
Notre Dame, now, if you tell me Notre Dame ran the table with their schedule because it was easy, I can completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Because they literally are not in a conference. They pick every game that they play.
Oh my
So
God.
I have no problem with that.
Every single year,
So
bro.
so
Why
for
y'all
me,
keep putting Notre Dame?
right, but no, Notre Dame, I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be in it this year. They do deserve when
Yeah.
they're good and they do their thing, they deserve to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't deserve to win it all the time because you know what I'm saying? Like it's like Indiana's good. They have a great coach. Notre Dame is good. They have a good coach. So for me, I think Indiana pulls this one out just because uh they have experience on their side. They have a solid head coach. And they have, to me, a lot more to prove because a lot of people nobody thought Indiana was going to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, you can kind of hit and miss. You can kind of say they should make playoffs or be in that conversation because they're always usually good, as far as their schedule goes. But I don't see that fight from Notre Dame when I've watched them this year. It's just, to me, they've just had better players than some of the teams that they played. Mm-hmm. Indiana, to me, has earned everything, in my opinion. And they play with a different type of grit. And they lost to Oregon. No, Ohio State. Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ohio State. Yeah. So they lost to Ohio State, and everybody. I told you they weren't that good. They haven't played nobody. They finally played somebody and got beat. They have that in the back of their mind. All of them went through that together. Nobody was at all talking about Notre Dame this season. Notre Dame kind of snuck up at the end and was like, hey, we here. But nobody talked about Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about Indiana, and then everybody was talking about how they shouldn't make it because they haven't played nobody. They shouldn't make it because they lost to Ohio State, whatever. So I think Indiana wins this game just because of coaching and experience. Because they have one of the older teams. So that's what, to me, what will make them beat them. Now, after this week, I don't think that they win. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, they got to play Georgia, so no. But I've been a fan of Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. When he kind of came to light at Duke, balled at Duke, transferred to Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love, dog, running back for Notre Dame. I just. Indy, I mean, this is literally like a backyard brawl in a way. I mean, both teams are in the state. So you really don't have to travel as far as you think, like a lot of these other teams have to. I think Notre Dame gets this one over Indiana. I really do. And I know people gonna probably be like, brother, you just took all the high seas, but I'm gonna go back to early this season when they played against Ohio State. Now, granted, if I remember correctly, Indiana lost that game by. Let me pull it up real quick. They lost. They lost. They lost. Like, I ain't gonna even sugarcoat it. They lost. They lost 38-15. So Notre Dame, in my opinion, is better than Ohio State. And so
I disagree.
I honestly I think
Consistency, yes. Cause consistency, yes. I can get that with you, but better, no.
Okay, granted, at that time, Ohio State was number 2, but Ohio State losing to Michigan just kind of just like, okay, in my eyes, I don't I honestly I don't even want to tell you if Ohio State and Notre Dame would have matched up, what the probability would have been of Notre Dame
I
winning.
mean, so I mean that's just like saying that the Celtics was better than the Heat because the Heat lost, or you could say the Heat weren't that good because they lost to the Dallas team that they should have beat. No, I mean they still are. They're not. These teams are not like Ohio State is a better team. You could be a better team and lose. Like to me, Georgia was better than Ole Miss and lost to Ole Miss. No,
Mm.
I mean Ole Miss just wanted it more.
I
So
say that
I don't think that Notre Dame is better than
I say
Ohio
that
State.
I say that in recency and a little bit of bias just because of Ohio State losing to Michigan.
Yeah,
But
you can't
I
say that.
think
I can't say that they're better. Like
yeah,
Notre Dame is better.
I 100% say that.
Okay. Well, then let me know this. In what aspect is Notre Dame better than Ohio State?
Oh my god, I feel me personally, the quarterback play. Riley Leonard is better than Will Howard. I 100% can
Okay,
say
so
Will.
okay. So you say that. So who has he played? What was the it factor for you that he's played against?
Riley Leonard can run. Will
Okay,
Howard
so he's
cannot
just a
run.
mobile quarterback. Like
Yes,
okay,
he's a mobile quarterback and he can
it's
throw.
more than playing quarterback than running the ball.
No, I get that, but at the same time, Riley Leonard can throw as well.
What game did it for you and said
Oh,
he's
when
better?
they played Georgia Tech, when Notre Dame played Georgia Tech this season in Atlanta, they played Georgia Tech.
No, I'm not saying that they didn't play him. So you're basing his game
So
off of Georgia Tech.
Georgia State was not a good team this year.
No,
Wow,
no,
Georgia Tech
no.
wasn't a good team at all this year.
I didn't say that not at all.
But I'm just saying they
They
weren't a
weren't.
good
They
team.
weren't. No, they were okay. They weren't. They weren't good to me. To me, they weren't.
Okay. Okay.
Because you
Well,
don't have to be a good team to beat certain teams.
fair. All right. That's fair.
The big win they had was Miami and Florida State.
Florida
Those were the
State.
two big games, right? Miami's defense is putrid, and we seen how Florida State was. The only game that Georgia Tech, to my opinion, can stand on completely was the Georgia game. And what happened with that? They lost.
But that game, that Notre Dame game, that Notre Dame and Georgia Tech game was before the Georgia game though.
No,
So
I think you're missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is those two, the Miami and Florida State game, were the two stamp games for
okay.
for Georgia Tech. And Georgia game was to me the best team that they played, and that's the best to me they look for a complete game, and as far as it being a team that is complete. Miami's not complete. Obviously, Florida State's not complete.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What? Okay, you say Georgia Tech. What other game?
Now, granted, they did play Louisville this year as well. Louisville was 15 when they played against them.
I don't care about the numbers. I don't care
I'm just
about.
saying. No, I'm just saying. Louisville was a good team as well this year too. Louisville was pretty decent. All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not saying that they're not.
Now, but I will say this.
For you to unfreeze on my
No.
But
Okay.
I was saying that I'm not saying that Louisville is not, and I'm not saying that Georgia Tech is not a team that can win. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to me they're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay. Like for instance, like they don't push the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? They run the ball a whole lot, run heavy offense. The quarterback is a dog. Don't get me wrong, but he has to literally fight for his life to get every yard that's earned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think of good teams, that's like okay, the ease of certain things, like you know what I'm saying, like the ease of like balance. That's what I look at when Georgia Tech is not balanced in my opinion. They just They beat a Florida State team that just had no life from the start of the season. They beat a Miami team whose defense my little girl can run through. You know what I'm saying? And then now that's why I said the big game that they were the most balanced in my opinion was the Georgia game because they played an opponent that was complete.
Yeah.
Meaning that the offense was complete, the defense was complete. Don't get me wrong, I know Georgia's had its struggles with the receivers and stuff, but they're still a complete team. You know, Florida State was not complete. Miami was not complete. You know, Louisville was good this year. I mean, to me, they're okay. And, you know, they're not. Okay, for better words, I say Georgia Tech is not consistent. I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll say that.
And granted, okay, I can agree with that. And also, if people want to throw it in my face, yes, the Northern Illinois loss to, that Notre Dame suffered at home this year was definitely a table turn loss for them. It was probably one of the most devastating losses this season. But still, I think if Ohio State and Notre Dame would have played each other, it still would have been going Notre Dame's way. But for the sake of this, I don't want to hold you because you still you got to head out.
No, but we can finish this because this is the last little bit.
Okay,
So
all right,
I just want to know because I disagree that Notre Dame is the better team than Ohio State.
Okay.
Now, to me, I can sit here and say Notre Dame has better coaching than Ohio State. I can agree with that. But as far as better team, because I mean, okay, and if you say quarterback play, okay, I can even give you that. But the better team, no, I can't agree with that because as a team, Ohio State is good. I just think that the coaching is spotty. So that because in college it trickles down from coaching.
Yeah.
Because they do everything that the coaches tell them to do on the field.
So, so with you saying that coaching is better, do you not feel like that should translate on the field as far as giving Notre Dame the edge?
I mean, because if that's the case, then Georgia should have beat Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? Right. So,
but granted, Lane Kiffin isn't a bad coach, right?
But he's not Kirby.
We just got outcoached that game.
That particular game, you got outcoached, but that doesn't mean that Ole Miss has a better team than Georgia. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you can have a bad coach and a great team, and the team not look as good. You know what I'm saying? Prime example. Well, I ain't gonna say bad coaching, but an example of that, I used the Miami Heat reference. Miami Heat had a better team than the Mavericks, but the Mavericks beat the Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? Because of coaching. They had a good coach that and players. I mean, they had good players, but they just weren't the player level of Miami. I'm not saying that Notre Dame can't beat Ohio State. I'm just arguing the fact that you said that Notre Dame was the better team than Ohio State. I think Ohio State is the better team. I just think that their downfall this year to me has been coaching. You know, and you can say the quarterback Will Howard is not as good as quarterback for Notre Dame. That's fine, but team wise, so because I mean, if you put like stack the receivers up, you think that they have a better receiving core than Ohio State?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely.
No. So, okay, do you think Notre Dame has a better defense than Ohio State?
No.
So then how can you say they have the better team?
Just as far as who has that edge, I feel like Notre Dame would have the edge. So
when you say edge, what do you mean?
Like, if they were to play each other today, Notre Dame gets the win. It wouldn't be like.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the better team, though. You know what I'm saying?
Me personally, I look at if you get the win, you were the better team.
But that don't mean you have a better team. You've had, to me, that just means that you had the better scheme. Like Ole Miss, you keep using this reference because to me it's night and day. Georgia has the talent. Ole Miss has talent, but they don't have talent on the level of Georgia on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
I think that they schemed better than Georgia did, and they executed better than Georgia did. Now, I can agree with you on that. That if Notre Dame and Ohio State were to play, that Notre Dame could possibly win just based off of preparation, scheme, and execution. I can give you that, but I can't say that Notre Dame has the better team.
Yeah.
You know, because you can have a great team and still lose. I mean, we've seen it so many times. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think. I just all I'm arguing is that I'm not knocking what you're saying. I'm just saying I just think that Ohio State has the better team.
Yeah.
Now, will they be prepared? That's a different story.
Right.
Now we arguing who's the better coach. You know, and I'm not going off record. I'm going off of just seeing how the players prepare and things like that. Because I personally believe if you give Notre Dame the same roster as Ohio State, it's a different conversation. Because I feel like Notre Dame will be undefeated and all of that.
Or let's use a scenario, and I'm trolling so hard when I say let's put them on a neutral site. Let's put them on a neutral playing field and see who wins then. Since everybody loves to throw
well,
a neutral site.
Even on a neutral site, right? Because I mean, neutral site is fine. Yeah. But if you're everything has to be right in a football game. Everything has to be right. That you, especially if you're gonna play a team that's better than you. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, Georgia almost blew the Texas game. Mm-hmm. Why? It's not because that Georgia didn't have great players or players better than Texas. It don't mean that Georgia wasn't executing at all. Mm-hmm. Texas had a better game plan and executed the game plan in that first half better than Georgia did. Mm-hmm. Why do you think, if you look at it, Georgia struggles in the first half? Why? Because the other team game plan for Georgia is better and they executed better. Right. But then second half, Georgia comes in and they change their game plan and then they execute their game plan better. So it's not saying that a team it's not saying that Georgia's not better than this team. It's just that team prepared more and executed more, played with more energy. I mean, the little things, because it's been times where Georgia's looked terrible, and it's not been the coaches sometimes, but sometimes it is the coaches preparing for it. Right. Prime example, you can't stand Mike Bobo. Don't mean that y'all's offense doesn't have athletes. They can only do what the offensive coordinator calls. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it don't look as good. So my thing is Ohio State has the better team. Because, I mean, running back wise, I think Judkins can compete with that. And they have another running back. I can't remember his name on top of my head.
Travion Henderson.
Yeah. So they have two running backs that are elite, that can be, on any team, be a dog. And then they have a receiving core where it could be anybody's day. You know what I'm saying? And then defensively, they have good players like Caleb Downs. They have that linebacker, I can't think of his name, and the defensive line is pretty stout. I'm just saying that now, if you're arguing consistency, heck yeah, Notre Dame is way more consistent than Ohio State, in my opinion. And then when you said quarterback play, I can agree with you on that. Will Howard's game is not, that's his name, right? Yeah. I always get him confused with the player that transferred from Ohio State that goes to Syracuse. Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. Yeah.
I always get them confused. Mm. But if you look at it, what was I saying? What was I just at?
Just as far as just comparison.
Right. And you could compare, like for instance, like Will Howard. His game is not to run the ball. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if Notre Dame's quarterback is a scrambler, he can run the ball and stuff like that. That's a thing that he does well that Will Howard doesn't. But if we're talking throwing the ball down the field, Will Howard might got that. If you know what I'm saying. But to me, it goes to where the consistency is. You know what I'm saying? Like, for prime example, another example, Michael Vick and I just lost the name. God dog. Lamar Jackson.
I was going to say, if you come on here saying Ben Roethlisberger.
No, like I'm using somebody that's alike, right?
Yeah.
Michael Vick and Jackson, they can run the ball extremely well. But Lamar Jackson is a bit more accurate than Vick was throwing the ball down the field. Vick can throw it a mile, but in the passing game, he's not as consistent. Does that mean that Lamar Jackson is a better player than Vic. No. You know what I'm saying? That don't necessarily mean that. It's about consistency all around. When you choose to run.
Yeah.
What do you do when you run? Like things like that. So I think that Ohio State's the better team than Notre Dame. I just think that Notre Dame is a little bit more consistent when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
You know? So that would be my argument. And the coaching staff is, to me, more consistent and better. You know,
right.
As far as the head coach goes. You know?
Okay.
So that would be my argument.
Well, listen, like they say, we will find out in a few short days.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all from me today, and I think you've gotten out all you need to.
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to finish that discussion so I can explain myself as far as I wasn't expecting a debate about that, but
I mean, it's good. It's good for us to have those. We agree too much, I think, and I think a lot of people will say the same. We agree too much, so it's good to have those every once in a while. But, ladies and gentlemen, it has been another phenomenal episode of the College House Podcast. We cannot thank you enough for your continued love and support. Continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me say that again. Continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me say it one more time. Continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Say amen.
Hit that subscribe button and wait for you until you hit a ding. Make sure you hit all notifications so you can get everything College Couch. That be on YouTube, that be on Apple Podcasts, that be on Spotify. However you're listening to us right now, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. I'm not gonna say it no more. I promise you. If I find out y'all ain't subscribing, y'all just watching us just to be watching us, I'm gonna be upset. And I think that's what's going on because we should have a lot more subscribers than what we have right now. So, but for the faithful few that have supported, we cannot thank y'all enough. You guys, you've been rocking with us since day one, so we cannot thank y'all enough. We can't thank you enough. Thank you. So, with that being said, Stackz Delbridge, my brother in Christ, take us home. Because I'm tired.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. If you got a player that needs some shine as a college athlete or a high school athlete, and they just not getting the shine that you feel they deserve, let us know. Hit my inbox, hit Javaris inbox, or just DM us on the College Couch Podcast page. We lit. But in the meantime, between time, y'all go like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend, tell their grandmama them, their cousin, auntie, brother them. College Couch Podcast is where it's at. But in the meantime, we got bills to play. We out of here. Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go get it.